slot, put in work, time for me to, time to work.
I wonder why Junior told us to meet here today.
Where is everybody, and why did Junior have us meet at a grocery store? Okay, Mr. B, I've got to ask, why did you make us meet here of all places? And it's called the juice shop, seriously? Also, what the heck are you doing behind the counter making a pizza? You don't really work here, do you?
Tell me about it. I thought you were joking when you said the location. Let me guess, this is your idea of role-playing for hackers.
Exactly. I mean, think about it, we're exploiting vulnerabilities in the Juice Shop app, so why not soak in the vibe while we work? Plus, their mango smoothies are amazing.
Okay, if you say so, I guess. So what's the plan? I mean, you dragged us here, so you must have something in mind.
Well, that's a great question. To start, let's take a look at the Juice Shop scoreboard as a team. Our focus will be on cross-site scripting, input validation, injection attacks, and security misconfigurations. But we'll take on each one together, step by step. First up, the DOM XSS challenge. It's a good place to start because it's straightforward, and it gives us a chance to test how the app handles malicious input in real time.
Okay, I have to ask, what the heck is DOM XSS? I mean, I've heard of cross-site scripting, but how is this one different?
Ah, good question. So, normal XSS happens when the server doesn't clean up your input and sends your code to everyone who visits the site. DOM XSS is a bit different, it happens right in the browser. The app just takes whatever you give it and runs it on the spot, no questions asked.
Okay, but where are the most common places to take advantage of DOM XSS? Like, where should we focus?
Another great question. Search bars and URL parameters are big ones, basically anywhere the app takes user input and uses JavaScript to update the page dynamically. Stuff like comment sections, chat boxes, or even forms can also be prime targets.
So, we're looking for spots where the app is being lazy and trusts user input without checking?
Exactly. And the Juice Shop has a few places we can check. Let's start by entering some simple HTML code into the search bar that will display CyberSoul in bold and see if it shows up. If it does, we'll know the input is not being filtered properly. Alright, next step, let's fire up Burp Suite. We'll find the search request from the highlighted requests we identified during information gathering and send it to Repeater. From there, let's manipulate the request by adding banana to the end of the search query. Send it through Repeater, and if the app processes it, you should see details for the banana juice product in the response.
So if it works, we know the app is just blindly trusting all input?
Not exactly, but it does mean we can try sending another query, just like we did in the browser. So let's inject the same HTML payload we used in the browser to see how it handles malicious input. By sending it through Repeater in Burp Suite, you won't see the same CyberSoul in bold, but you should receive a 200 OK success response, which is confirmation that input is being processed without filtering.
So it's basically saying, sure, I'll eat whatever you feed me.
That's right, and if it's not filtering HTML, we can try using a more advanced payload and see where it breaks. Now, let's head back to the browser and copy the JavaScript code provided in the scoreboard. Next, paste the code into the search bar. This will test how the app handles actual DOM-based XSS. If it's vulnerable, we should see the payload execute right on the page.
Alright, so now I just press enter to execute the code?
Yep, just hit enter. This should trigger an alert box to pop up, demonstrating that the page is vulnerable to XSS attacks.
And there it is. Boom.
Congratulations, we just solved the Juice Shop DOM XSS challenge. Take a moment to soak this in before we move on to input validation, injection attacks, and security misconfigurations. Also, while we're here, take some time to explore and see if there are other places in the Juice Shop app where you could try similar techniques. Who knows what else might be vulnerable?
Quick question, why didn't we just do all of this in Burp Suite? I thought the point of this training was to do everything there.
Great question. This kind of attack won't work in Burp Suite because Burp intercepts the request before the JavaScript is executed in the browser. DOM XSS, on the other hand, relies on JavaScript being executed directly in the browser. Burp is fantastic for analyzing server-side responses, but this vulnerability is all about how the browser itself handles and executes the input.
So it's a teamwork thing. Burp does the heavy lifting on the back end, but the browser takes center stage for stuff like this.
Exactly. Now, in the next training, we'll focus on input validation. The scoreboard has a 1-star challenge, which is to leave a 0-star review. This might sound simple, but it's a classic example of how apps sometimes fail to properly validate inputs. Most apps don't expect users to give 0 stars, so this challenge will help us see if the app's validation logic can handle unexpected input. Along with the 0-star challenge, there are 2 other challenges we'll dig into. First up, repetitive registration. This challenge explores whether the app allows duplicate registrations using the same credentials or slight variations, which could lead to spam or abuse. And finally, empty user registration. Attempt to register a user with an empty email and password. This test ensures the app enforces required fields and properly handles missing inputs. These tests will help us identify and strengthen weak points in the app's input validation system. And with that said, we hope you enjoyed our training today, learned something new, and we look forward to seeing you for the next episode. So until next time, remember, it's always CyberSoul Security, and we out.
Touch the clock, put in work, time for me to work.